begin transmission. A lot of people are kind of scared of reptiles, specifically snakes. They have this image in their mind of snakes as this highly dangerous predatory creature that is just lying in wait. It kind of looks like this, and it's just this evil creature from the depths of darkness that just is wanting to sink its venomous fangs into their kidneys. But in reality, most snakes aren't really all that venomous. And some of them do look pretty intimidating, but I wanted to show you one today that is the opposite of intimidating. This is the sand boa, and look at this goofy looking snake. This is a real snake. It's not a photoshopped image, and this is a snake that is adapted to burrowing under sand. And most of the time, as you guys can recall, in burrowers there's usually a reduction in eyesight because you're burrowing underground. Well, this animal kind of went in a different direction. Its eyes changed, but they adapted to being just kind of on top of its head in kind of this weird orientation. And so it's not looking for prey underground. It's actually just burrowing underground to hide from prey. So it's kind of an ambush strategy. It buries itself under sand, leaving its funny little face poking out, and then when a mouse or a lizard or a smaller snake come along, then it lunges out and grabs them. And so this is just a goofy looking snake, probably the goofiest snake I can think of, to kind of put you at ease about these dangerous predatory animals. So today we'll just learn about a few reptiles. Here's one more picture of that goofy looking sand boa, just to remind you that not all reptiles are scary. Some of them are a little bit goofy looking, and you can have a lot of fun studying them. So today we're going to be learning about 5 individual species of reptiles, 1 from every major order. 4 from every major order, and then 2 from the Spinata, because you got to have a lizard and a snake. We will begin with order Spinodonta, and you should by now be pretty familiar with this. It's a small group. Genus is Spinodon. The common name is Tuatara, and the Tuatara is about a 2-foot long iguana-like, lizard-like animal that is a living fossil. It has plesiomorphic attributes, including this almost crocodilian-like tail and kind of stocky features, and especially a parietal eye, a third eye on its forehead that it uses to regulate circadian rhythms. And they have a very slow maturation cycle, so it takes them almost a decade to reach sexual maturity, and then they don't breed very often, and they don't lay very many eggs. And so this is a species that is very vulnerable to extinction. They live on a nice little island where they don't have any predators. So if predators were to arrive, cats, dogs, rats, birds, they would be very vulnerable to extinction, even though they've lived there for a very, very long time. So this is Spinodon, the Tuatara, in order Spinodonta. Our representative turtle from order Testudines is Dermocheilus, the giant leatherback turtle. And this one is the largest turtle. It is also the fastest turtle. It can weigh over a ton and can be well over 6 feet long, and it's been clocked swimming at over 20 miles an hour. Its tremendously long, broad, flat front flippers help it gain pretty remarkable speed. This speed also gives it a little bit of endothermy. So because of its active lifestyle, its muscles generate some body heat. Most reptiles are ectothermic, but Dermocheilus is pretty unique in being endothermic. So kind of similar to a lot of the fast-moving fish that we talked about with regional endothermy. The same type of thing happens here with the leatherback. It's called the leatherback because unlike most turtles, it doesn't have a thick bony carapace. Rather, it has a thick skin and with kind of an oily secretion to reduce drag as it swims through the water. And then its carapace is covered with little tiny osteoderms rather than the bony plate-like scutes that most turtles have. So the largest turtle, the fastest turtle, but a turtle without a shell, and a pretty remarkable animal. Next we have the order Squamata, which include the lizards and the snakes. This is one of my favorite lizards. This is a chameleon. Chameleons are mostly invertebrate hunters. They like to eat insects with their long, sticky tongues that they can shoot out over 2 feet in length. Their tails are prehensile, which means they can grab onto it, you kind of use it as another limb. And their actual feet are kind of modified to be laterally opposed, and so they can kind of grip the branch as they move. Their skin is filled with a tremendous number of chromatophores, and they can change their color based on their mood. So some people think that chameleons use their changing colors for camouflage, but that's not really accurate. Mostly what they use it is for is communication. So they communicate to rival males or to potential mates or to their young, something about their emotional state, whether they're sad or happy or angry or looking for mates. And so this is Cameleo, the common chameleon, and just a remarkable creature. Also, its eyes, it can move its eyes in different directions. And so its left eye can be looking one way and its right eye can be looking in a completely different way. Just a remarkable animal. And here's the tongue I was telling you about. It sees its prey from a distance and then zoip, grabs it. Amazing. This snake is a little bit intimidating, a little bit dangerous. This is also an order Squamata, but unlike lizards, this is a snake, so it has fixed eyelids and no external ears, and it is limbless. But as you know, that's not the characteristic that distinguishes lizards from snakes. The genus here is Moxie Uranus. This is an inland taipan, the most venomous snake in the world. It is thankfully fairly reclusive and fairly docile. It's not very aggressive, but it is highly specialized in hunting mammals, and so all its toxin is kind of targeted to the mammalian nervous system. And it lives in arid deserts where it spends most of the day hiding in burrows, and it hunts mainly at night. So humans don't interact with it very often. Even still, it can kill you in about half an hour, and its venoms are a whole concoction. It's a slurry of all these different peptides. It is in family Elapidae, so it is related to cobras. It's an elapid, so it has fixed fangs, but it has neurotoxins. It has pre-synaptic and post-synaptic neurotoxins, so it blocks both the transmission of neurotransmitters and the reuptake of neurotransmitters. So it basically just shuts down your entire nervous system. It also has hemotoxic toxins, which coagulate your blood, and it also has myotoxins, which melt your muscles. And so if you're bitten by one of these, your urine will turn a rusty orangey red as your muscles literally dissolve and your kidneys try to filter it out. So you pee your muscles out of your body. So it's incredibly painful, and death, if you're not administered an antivenom, death will usually occur through paralysis or brain hemorrhaging or kidney failure. Not a great thing to get bitten by. The amount of venom is so toxic. The venom is so toxic that a single bite has enough venom to kill about 100 grown people. So this is the most drop for drop toxic venom of all vertebrates that we know of so far. Moxie Uranus, the inland taipan, the world's most venomous serpent. This creature, though, is not venomous at all, and yet it kills more people annually than many snake species. This is the Nile Crocodile, Crocodilus niloticus, order Crocodilia, and just look at its eyes. Just see the dead eyes of a reptile. There's just no heart and feeling inside those. Nile crocodiles are tremendous apex predators. They are ambush predators. They can get to be about 20 feet long and weigh over 1,000 pounds. And they typically hunt their prey in water, although they can run pretty fast. Some have been clocked to move in over 20 miles an hour in a swift gallop after prey on land, which is pretty terrifying. But most of the time they hide in wait in rivers for animals to come and drink or try to cross, and then they swiftly grab them They can wait in a place for days, even weeks before prey comes, and so they have a fairly low metabolism, and their life is kind of punctuated by brief intervals of high activity. So they have a tremendous bite force, and they can attack their prey with tremendous speed, but most of the time they're very slow, very low energy. And so it's kind of low energy ambush predation, and then high energy attack, and then eating. When they grab their prey, they will often bring it underwater and roll into a death spiral, and this helps drown the prey, and then rips chunks of flesh off its bones for it to eat, and which it swallows whole. If it kills a prey that's larger than it can eat at once, it will often store the uneaten part in part of the river, and so it kind of has a little refrigeration system, and will return to that food store at later intervals. So this is Crocodilus niloticus, order Crocodilia, and those are the 5 reptile representatives you should know. Something has been bothering me about Dr. Cordyceres' trial. You know, he admitted to stealing, and he admitted to not being who he said he was, but he still maintained his innocence about the murder and stealing the navigational charts and the ice cream. And it's really the ice cream that's been bothering me, because I feel like I remember seeing some ice cream somewhere, and I just haven't been able to place it. Well, last night I was laying in bed trying to go to sleep, but my brain was remembering all the embarrassing things I've done, so I was having a hard time sleeping. And I remembered that about a few weeks ago, before Dr. Mastronomer's death, I had been hanging out in the hallways with my pals, and we were just joking around. And as I had some trash in my hand, and as has become almost a religious tradition at this point, I Kobe'd that trash into a little corner trash can, and this never happens, but it didn't go in. I missed. And so, dejected and embarrassed, I had to drag myself over to the trash can, pick up the trash from right next to it, and put it in the trash can by hand. Quite embarrassing, and I assure you this never happens. I almost always get it right in the trash can. But what made me, as I was recalling this memory, I remember when I bent down to pick up the piece of trash that I had dropped, there was something else on the floor. It was a little spoon with a little bit of ice cream on it. And I remember noticing it, kind of locked in my memory because of this humiliating experience. The ice cream was still cold. And it all came back to me in a flash. This trash can was not anywhere near Dr. Cordyceres' or Dr. Mastronomer's quarters. It was on the other side, in the south hallway. The only people back there, the captain's quarters are back there, and Isabella, his daughter, and Vector and Dave, all their quarters are back there. And of course it is a pathway. You know, Dr. Cordyceres could have been wandering around eating the ice cream and then just tossed it where he left it. I mean, he did just throw it down. So what kind of person, I guess a murderer would do that, just toss an ice cream spoon down? Got me thinking, and I pulled Master Sergeant Rush aside and brought in Dr. Arnold, our botanist, because he was the only other one who voted to not exile Dr. Cordyceres, although he is kind of more concerned with the navigational charts being missing. I don't know anything about navigation, so that's not really very concerning to me. The ice cream is quite concerning to me. I don't know why anybody would lie about that, something of that importance. But the three of us decided to go visit Dr. Cordyceres on the Snake Island, just to ask him about the ice cream, ask him about the navigational charts, see if after a few days he's kind of rethought his defense, and maybe he's willing to share some more information about his nefarious deeds. When we got there, much to our delight, Dr. Cordyceres was right there laying down on the beach. But when we got closer, we realized, much to our not delight, he was dead. Yeah, he died real quickly after we dropped him off. I mean, there are snakes every square meter, so he didn't last long. Poor Dr. Cordyceres, and it looked like he probably got bit within the first hour of being there. not a very good survivalist. So I think we have a little bit more investigation to do.